from my own personal experience and what we've seen, okay, most people want to invest in real estate. They have an idea of, I want to own property, but they really don't have a plan. Right? They really don't have a tractable, well thought out financial plan. How they're going to do that, what success looks like. Are they looking for cash flow? Are they looking for, what is that looking for? Because at the end of the day, owning real estate is really about cash flow. It's not really about having a thing that sits there that doesn't bring you any revenue.
Hi guys, welcome to the Roots podcast. My name is Irene. I'm the product lead at Roots Africa. Roots Africa is an organization that empowers Africans in the diaspora navigate the African property market from wherever they are. Today we are so honored to be hosting the founder of Roots Africa, Mr. Mark Karaki.
Hello.
So we're going to be having a conversation around the organization and what it entails.
Yes, and this is Irene's first time on a podcast. So, I've just, put out there. But yeah, so we're not professionals at this, but, we're excited about, what we're doing, and we think it's super important to have a channel where we can inform our stakeholders, our customers, our partners, firsthand about the real estate market on the continent, because that's where we're based and that's our business. So having a podcast, it gives us the opportunity to actually provide very rich, valuable, on-demand content to inform, educate, share, what we are seeing, what we're doing, and the opportunities in the market. So, Over to you, host.
Okay, so Mark, please tell us a bit about your background and what inspired you to start Roots Africa.
Yeah, so really quickly, born and raised in Kenya. After high school, I had the opportunity to go to uni in the US, and I ended up in California for the best part of 20 years. So my whole career in adult life up to 6 years ago was spent in California. I lived specifically in the Bay Area, and so my experience through that, at some point as I was going through my career, I wanted to start investing in real estate, and because I knew that Africa was growing. When I made a visit after many years, I saw the city Nairobi had just mushroomed. A couple of years later, it had flexed a little bit more, and so was interested in participating in the real estate market. And the gap between me and that outcome was a chasm, right? Just knowing what's available, having somebody who can help you get it done, and then you hear all these horror stories from friends and people about how they've been scammed, how they've been taken to the cleaners by people they trusted, and then it just becomes this thing you intend to do that you never do. So the years are just passing, and you just feel this anxiety that, oh my God, I need to start investing because what's my long-term plan? And it was so dissatisfying, right? And so when I decided to move back eventually to Kenya in 2018. I moved back to Kenya in March of 2018. I always knew that I would step into this space and solve this problem. So here we are. It's been some time. I've been working on other projects and doing other things, but at the point where we are right now, I'm just so excited about solving this problem for others like me, right? And so the inspiration really is the people, because the truth of the matter is, the people living in the diaspora, it can be a very isolated reality. A lot of them are also thinking about what does their future hold? Are you planning to kind of move back home and retire back home, or even if you're going to retire over there, what's your retirement plan? how do you actually start to secure yourself financially, and real estate becomes the obvious answer to a lot of people. And I just know a ton of people are just stuck behind that gap. You know, they have the will, they have the means, but every single time they try, it's very difficult. So why should it be that hard to help people achieve their goals fundamentally? So for me, I'm a very people-driven person. I always look to solve human-centric problems, and this one is just very near and dear to my heart because I'm solving my erstwhile problem, my former problem.
Interesting. I can't help but notice the tagline, built on trust. Why did you decide to go with built on trust?
Because that should be rather obvious. It is the missing link, right, between folks in the diaspora and the continent. So we decided to go with built on trust because we didn't want to be assumptive. Like, we didn't want to we just wanted to put it out there. Right, and make it very clear to ourselves first, to remind ourselves that what we are really peddling in is trust. We're in the business of trust in some ways. And so, our whole mission, our whole work, everything we do is really built on a layer of trust. So that so we can bridge the gap between folks who want to actually access this opportunity and the opportunity itself. So trust is the missing link. So we're really built on trust.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have had the privilege of living in the country and abroad. What do you think is the difference in terms of how business is conducted in in this market and that other market?
Yeah, of course, I'm making a generalization here. I think the better way to look at it is just how people do things generally. Of course, my experience in the US, it's a very mature market. It's a different set of standards. There's a lot of kind of structures in place. Trust is kind of engineered into the operating framework because you can get information and data and people operate at a certain level of, for want of a better term, I guess trust, if you will, right? But that's really, it's not like people are more trustworthy there. It's just that the economic structure, the way businesses are set up, the way people work, there is, the structures are there, right? The standards are there. The regulations are there, right? It's a very established market. And so people operate with a certain set of assumptions that, there's transparency, there's information, so there's no this kind of like obfuscation, or there's no this or taking advantage of what people don't know. It's not common too much. And so that's one thing. What basically generally in the business in the business community, generally speaking, what people tell you, you can kind of rely on to be factual. And it's a very efficient market. Where individuals are not trustworthy or not, they basically overpromise and underdeliver, it will very quickly be outcompeted because it's also a very competitive market, right? So anything that is not up to standard will suffer consequences. So over here, it's a little different. There's still a lot of opacity. The information is not very apparent and available. So people traffic in that murky area, and standards also, negotiable. What people can tend to oversell and underdeliver, and it's just the way things are. Now that's not everyone, but that's kind of the prevailing environment. It's a very different. And then just kind of the way people operate generally, it's just customer support. Customers, like basically being customer oriented. That's something that's kind of evolving over here now. But it's just not a thing that people that generally is mature, right? Is established. So things that people would expect if they're doing business with you, like there'll be communication, there'll be updates, there'll be, it's not necessarily always forthcoming. And even when you expect it from a service provider or a vendor, they can even take umbrage to that. They can even be like a little bit taken aback, right? Just communicate where we are at, what's happening. Give me, give me complete information.
Yes.
It's like it's almost like there's a gap between how things are done and that expectation. And people in the diaspora, people in the West, that's the expectation. They just the expectation is complete information, communication. Say what it is, how it is. Be clear. Those things. So when you move back, you kind of encounter that that gap between like, okay, how come there's not complete information? Why isn't there? Why isn't there things on time and done the way they're supposed to, right? So that's just basically the experience between that and here. That becomes a very challenging space to operate because you're expecting things to be a certain way. They're not, and there's a disconnect, right, in terms of people working together.
Yeah, just listening to you, I can feel the gap in terms of what investors would want to know so that they're able to make informed decisions. So what is Roots Africa doing to ensure that people who choose to work with Roots Africa are able to access this information and actually make decisions based on the data?
Actually, before we go there, maybe I'll turn this on you a little bit, but I'll take that question. So you actually were in the real estate industry 4 years prior to joining Roots Africa.
Yeah.
And you have worked with individuals in the diaspora and also locally.
Yes.
I guess the first question is, what have you perceived to be the difference between those two types of customers who you sold property to, so to speak?
The difference is that people in the diaspora tend to believe what they are told more, actually. I feel like Kenyans or people who know the market here are aware that there is a chance of actually falling into scams and fraud a lot more compared to people from there. So it's easier to convince them, and maybe it's because they also don't have the market insights. They don't live here, so they don't really understand how the market works. And I'm sure we have so many scams that are happening, but they don't get to hear about each and every, situation. So they're a bit more trusting. So
that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't expect
to be yes, exactly. They
why
don't
would
expect
because
it
they're
to
living
be
in
like
an
that.
environment where what people tell
Why
you
would you lie to
it is
me?
what it is.
Why would you tell me you'll do this as a developer and not deliver?
Right.
So people like that end up getting so disappointed,
Right.
especially with some developers actually not delivering what they promised. Yeah.
I mean, I guess what was your question? You can ask the question you had. What is it that we do and how we bring it together? What was your question?
Yeah. So from the conversation,
Before you go there, why did you choose to join Roots Africa? Right? What is it that? Why did you choose to join? Professional, you could have gone anywhere.
Yes,
but
yes.
You chose to join us on this journey.
So why?
What did you see?
Yes. So what I loved about Roots Africa is the way they are looking at real estate investing from a holistic point of view. So buying a house is a process, right? You need to get services from different service providers. You need to get an agent who now links you up to a developer. Then you get a financial institution, a lawyer. So you see, you're getting different services from different places that sometimes you don't even know if they actually deliver. So with Roots Africa, we are able to look at it from a holistic view and give you a process that if you follow this process, you're able to do your investments in a smart and secure way. So for me, that was smart. I don't think there's any other organization in Kenya that has managed to combine the elements of real estate investing like that. And I could not resist, of course, the opportunity to contribute to Africa's economic growth, because so many people want to invest from diaspora. They just don't know, where to start from. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So your question is, how do we do this?
Oh, my question is, from the conversation, I could fill the gap, right? People don't have the information, and maybe institutions here have not really invested in providing this information in the first place. Most developers actually don't give updates, imagine. So you're here investing and you don't get updates,
know
or
how
you're
things
not.
are going.
Exactly. So what is Roots Africa doing to ensure that even if I invest from wherever I am, I'm able to actually know what's happening, and even with the next investment, I'm able to go with the trends and actually do profitable investments. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question for me. I've hijacked your flow, so
That's a question. What is Roots Africa doing
doing
to make sure that guys in the diaspora get this information? We have the educational program,
So
market
it's not. It's
insights.
more than information. It's the holistic process. What is it that constitutes the solution? Right? Really, the way we think about it is plan, structure, execute, manage.
Yes.
So the real estate investment journey is really built around, like you said, a process.
Yeah.
So what I from my own personal experience and what we have seen, market, most people want to invest in real estate. They have an idea of, I want to own property, but they really don't have a plan. Right? They really don't have a tractable, well thought out financial plan. How they're going to do that, what success looks like. Are they looking for cash flow? Are they looking for, what is it that they're looking for? Because at the end of the day, owning real estate is really about cash flow. It's not really about having a thing that sits there that doesn't bring you any revenue, right? It's really about cash flow. So the first thing is having a plan. So we have invested in helping in our partners have a plan, right? Where are you trying to go? What's your goal? 10 years from now, what type of cash flow do you want to be commanding in your portfolio? And sitting down and saying, okay, and how am I going to get there on a step-by-step process, right? Do I have the budget to actually accomplish that? What type of properties should I be investing based on my budget and based on my goal? Because once you have that, then now it's easier to execute, because now you know exactly what you need to do, and you can see, you know how you move forward. Each step makes sense to you because it's clear. Most people don't have an investment plan. It's a simple thing, but
important.
It's very important, and most people don't have that. So that's where we like to start with investors. Now, you don't have to have a plan for us to consume any of our other services. You can just come to us and say, hey, I need transaction management support, and we'll give that to you. So anyway, plan. Number 2 is structuring. Structuring, legal structuring, entity structuring. Majority of people own real estate as an individual, as opposed to having a corporation or an entity that they control, that they own, manage their real estate investing process, which has amazing benefits from tax mitigation, from also onward transfer, that type of thing. So that's also a very important thing. People need to think strategically, because the wealthy people, that's what they do. They know how to set themselves up with legal entities and structures to manage what they do, their investing, their financial world. And so that's a piece that we provide, helping individuals structure entities so that they can be very strategic in how they work with their investing, right? Reduces your tax burden, brings efficiency into your all your processes around that real estate investing, right? For example, maybe I won't go too much into that. The next step is execution, right? If you have a plan now, it's really about putting it into action, and that's where we can provide you transaction management services. We can be your ears and eyes and representative on the ground to actually help you get that done, right? And then the final thing is portfolio management, right? Who will manage your portfolio? You bought a house, you bought a property, now what? And we provide that service as well. So it's investment planning, legal structuring, transaction management, and portfolio management. Plan, structure, execute, manage. And that's basically how we're bringing all this together. And that's basically, and then we have a technology wrapper around all that. So we're building a technology platform to help individuals everywhere from their real estate investment plan, visual, they can interact with it. They can transaction management, because then also the real estate investment process is very fragmented.
Yes.
There are all these players. You have
Yes.
information here, you have
Yes.
information
Yes.
there,
Yes.
updates, so on and so forth. It's overwhelming. So you need a centralized place that you can see and interact with your real estate investment journey. And so
Yeah.
we're creating this platform that will enable everything from having a plan, legal structures. Where is your documentation? Where are your entities? You know, are they in your email somewhere? Are you they in some folder somewhere? No, they should be in some centralized place so you know what you own. You can access those documents. Transaction management. Where are you in this transaction purchase of this process? You should be able to see it. It's visual. You know where the updates are there, right? From us or from the developer we are working with, and also portfolio management, right? So you can see your entities who the tenants, and you can communicate with them there. So everything basically in a holistic experience, end to end. So yeah.
I really love how we build and maintain trust with our potential clients. Could you please just talk about that a bit?
Yes. Trust is the foundation upon everything we do. So you can just say it, but are you really doing it, living up to it?
Yeah.
So we have engineered trust into what we do. And trust is really about communication, accountability, transparency. And so we've structured everything from our people, processes, and technology around the goal of engendering trust. So, working with people who, number one, are beyond reproach. We don't tolerate, I personally don't tolerate, for me, integrity is
Key.
fundamental. It's fundamental. And yeah, it's I won't kind of derail that with other stories, but, and then the other piece of that is, so it's the people, it's the processes, being very intentional about our customers knowing what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we are doing it, where they are in that process, and then the technology that surfaces all that information in real time is how we do that. So it's communication, it's people having, it's transparency, it's accountability. You do what you say you're going to do. You under promise, over deliver, if you will. And so we sweat the details. It really comes down sweating the details. And you work with me, and you know how I can be,
how detailed you can be.
Right? And so and the reason why that is because either we'll be detailed, or either I will bring that into the organization, or the customer will bring that into the organization if it's lacking. And that will cost a lot, and it's just too much unnecessary.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. So fundamentally, it's really about us being about it, if you will. And so, so it's people, process, technology, right? Culture, technology, right? It's the people and how you work. That's the culture, and then it's a technology platform that really surfaces and enables and that takes what you're doing and just makes it 21st century ready, if you will. So that's how we do that. And the one other thing is the community that we have, which is, instead of having this arm's length relationship with your clients, I like to call them partners on this journey. We've decided to create a community where we can go on this journey together, right? Where it's an online platform, but it's also offline, where we have events when people come into the market. We want to host them for different mixers, and we have ideas of having galas and celebration events for people who have achieved their investment milestones, and so. It's not a transactional relationship by any stretch. It's really a community. We're going on a journey together, right? And so we're investing in building a community that will help our partners, our clients, learn about real estate investing.
I wanted to ask about that separately.
Oh, you want to ask about that separately?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got excited. You should have listened to me flow. Okay. But anyway, so the community is a piece of that. So I'll stop and let you.
Yeah, so the community is one of the most exciting aspects of how we decide to do it. I want you to go into details about the community. Explain to people why they would want to be part of this community and what benefits they would get from being part of, this community.
The Roots community, So the whole idea, for me, the way I think about building anything, I don't build companies, right? I mean, that's kind of like the underlying structure of what you're doing. But I'm interested in starting movements.
Yes.
I'm interested in moving people from one point in life to another. And that shouldn't be just a purchase or a sale.
Yeah.
It should be something more deeper, more meaningful, more fundamental, more fun, more engaging, more transformative.
Yes.
And so we build communities around the community we've built, and we've built communities around other projects that I've worked on, other startups that we worked on. The whole purpose of a community is to provide people a venue to learn or get information, to network with like-minded people, and to find opportunity, right? And so that's how, those are the fundamental pillars upon which our community play is built. And so, learn what's learning about, staying informed, right? If as a real estate investor, there's things you should learn, right? Things you should know.
Yes.
There's information you should get, and so we invest in that, right? To surface that type of information to our community in a proprietary way, and so we take on that responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Doing market research, writing reports, responding to things as trends, just providing that information base, if you will. And the second piece is networking, obviously, right? Or with like-minded people. Living in the diaspora can be a lonely experience, and bringing people together in an online community where they can network with like-minded people and make connections. Is super valuable, right? And the third piece is find opportunity, right? You see, if you really think about how opportunity in the world aggregates to those with means.
Yes.
The rich get richer, right?
Yes.
Because opportunities surface to them because they have the resources, right? The average person will not get the access to the types of opportunity that wealthy people will get access to. Why? Because opportunity wants capital. It wants that really resources.
Yeah.
And so we see an opportunity here of bringing people together and having the same advantages that one wealthy person has, where we will have access to preferential pricing in the market, being able to have leverage with developers to set standards, expectations, and all that, right? Because if I come to you and I, as a developer, you're a developer, and I come and say, hey, look, we have 100 customers, we have 1,000 customers, right? We can
get good discount.
Yeah, we can command some benefits, and we can pass those on to our partners, our investors, and really excited about that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, for me, it's about movement. It's about leveling the playing field. It's about giving. It's about how. Yeah, it's about taking people and working with them to kind of remove the systemic gaps that can exist in society, the inequality that can exist in society.
Yeah.
How can you organize and build solutions, right, to level the playing field and give people access to opportunity? So, yeah, I'm excited about that. That's worth doing. That's
very exciting, actually. Thank you, Mark, so much for creating some time to have this conversation. Thank you for everyone who's listening. We are gonna be bringing more educative content to you, and see you soon.